So, with the latest release of millions of new Jeffrey Epstein documents, this whole story has come roaring back. And honestly, it's revealing a narrative that is far, far stranger and more sprawling than most of us ever realized. Let's dig into what these files are really showing us.
The headlines are absolutely plastered with famous names, but that's just scratching the surface. What we're going to do here is look past all that noise to really get a handle on the true scope of Epstein's influence, based on this just massive public record.
Okay, so first things first. To even begin to understand this, you have to get a sense of the sheer scale of the information and the very serious problems with it. It's not just about what was released, it's all about how it was released.
A recent drop of 3 million pages has brought the total public record to over 6 million files. I mean, that is just a mountain of data. We're talking everything from emails and flight logs to absolutely chilling first-hand accounts from victims.
But here's the thing. This massive data dump has basically created a whole new disaster. Despite all the assurances we got about quality control, the release has been just riddled with errors, and that's creating a whole new set of nightmares.
And it all comes down to one thing: redaction. We're seeing thousands of failures that have exposed the identities of at least 40 survivors, which they describe as completely re-traumatizing. There are duplicate files released with different things blacked out, unredacted photos of victims, and even truly bizarre mistakes like redacting a famous public photo. This level of carelessness doesn't just make it harder to find the truth, it actively puts victims at risk all over again.
All right, now let's get into the names. The files paint a pretty clear picture of a global network that reached all the way to the highest levels of politics and business.
This is a really unsettling quote. It was allegedly said by Epstein to Howard Luttick, who was Donald Trump's former Commerce Secretary. Luttick has claimed this comment, which was made at Epstein's mansion in New York, was so disgusting that he just cut off all contact right then and there.
Yeah, but the files, they paint a completely different picture. While Luttick claimed he cut all ties way back in 2005, emails show he was actually planning a trip to Epstein's Island in 2012, and other documents suggest they were planning to work together as recently as 2018. It's a perfect example of the kind of contradictions you find all over these records.
And this network was truly global. Donald Trump is referenced over 5,300 times. You have FBI sources alleging that Epstein managed money for people like Vladimir Putin and Robert Mugabe. And new files show Prince Andrew was still having conversations with Epstein even after their relationship had already cost him his royal title.
But Epstein's network wasn't just about old-world political power. No, it was also plugged right into the heart of the modern world of tech and innovation.
The files detail how Bill Gates kept meeting with Epstein for years, even after his 2011 conviction for soliciting a minor. This was a relationship that reportedly made his then-wife Melinda deeply uncomfortable. But one of the most disturbing allegations comes from emails Epstein apparently sent to himself, claiming Gates got an STD from Russian girls and wanted help getting antibiotics to secretly give to Melinda. Now, Gates has called these claims absolutely absurd, and a lot of people see this as a pretty clear blackmail attempt by Epstein.
And then you have this email, sent from Elon Musk's account to Epstein's inner circle. In another message, he even clarifies that he wasn't looking for a peaceful island experience, but really wanted to let loose.
So here's why that timing is just so important. As you can see, this question about the wildest party was sent in 2012. That's a full year after Jeffrey Epstein's status as a convicted sex offender was very, very public knowledge.
Okay, and if you thought that was wild, buckle up, because this is where the story goes completely off the rails. It extends into the worlds of online culture and video games in ways that, I swear, almost no one could have predicted.
So let's just break this down. According to emails from 2012, the CEO of Activision at the time, Bobby Kotick, met with Epstein and his associates. In their emails, they literally discussed indoctrinating kids into an economy. Just 4 months after that email exchange, monetized microtransactions were introduced to the blockbuster game Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
The absurdity just keeps going. Epstein's Xbox Live account was banned in 2013, first for harassing other players, and then again for being a registered sex offender. The files also show he was a Fortnite fan. He bought V-Bucks, he was following the updates, his alleged username, LittlestJeff1. It's just such a surreal detail, and it shows how his interests seeped into every corner of modern culture.
And it seems his digital influence went even deeper. Documents show that Epstein had ties to Chris Poole, the founder of 4chan. They reportedly met just one day after the site's infamous political board /poll was created. This has led a lot of people to believe that Epstein actually played a role in its creation,
potentially helping to shape one of the most toxic online cultures of the last 2 decades.
When a story gets this strange, you're going to get a mix of truth, conspiracy, and straight-up disinformation. It's just inevitable. So how do we even begin to navigate all of this?
Well, a perfect example is the revival of the Pizzagate conspiracy. Back in 2016, it was this baseless theory linking politicians to a pedophilia ring. Now, today, the simple mention of the word pizza in Epstein's files is being used by some people as proof of coded language. It's the exact same pattern of assumption and misinterpretation being applied to these new documents.
And it's so important to understand how simple errors can just explode into these huge theories. For example, a claim that Epstein had a bank account named after the demon Baal spread like wildfire online. But this was most likely just an OCR software error. The program that scans documents just misread the phrase bank name as Baal name. It was a technical glitch, not some demonic conspiracy.
And that really brings us to the most important point of all. This quote from our source material just grounds this whole discussion. It's so easy to get lost in the bizarre gaming habits or the crazy conspiracy theories, but we absolutely cannot lose sight of the reality here.
So the crucial takeaway is this. All of the surreal details, the video games, the weird emails, the wild theories, they all stem from a foundation of real horrific crimes and real victims. The absurdity of this story can never ever be allowed to overshadow the atrocity at its core.
This document release answered a lot of questions, but it also raised countless more. It really makes you wonder, if his influence really stretched from global politics all the way to the culture of 4chan and Call of Duty, what other parts of our world did he touch that we still don't even know about?